Overthinking in relationships can honestly take up so much time and energy. It makes us doubt ourselves, and it actually creates arguments and stories within the relationship that weren't actually there in the first place, and they don't even serve us. Hi gorgeous, I'm Katie Bampton, and in this video I'm going to give you 3 ways and 3 whys of why you're potentially overthinking in your relationship and what you can actually practically implement today to reduce the overthinking thoughts that are coming into your mind over your relationship. And also this isn't just relationships, romantic relationships. This can also be friendship, platonic relationships, work environments as well. So just taking all that I'm giving you, maybe get your notebook and pen out, write in your notes on your phone, and let's get into it. The first one I'm going to touch on is lack of communication. And this can show up in when we are assuming something about our partner rather than actually asking the question. For example, you guys are sitting on the sofa, you've both come home from work, he's sitting there maybe on his phone or watching TV and hasn't been giving you any attention, or is not talking to you, is not looking at you because he's just in his own bubble. You potentially within your mind have started creating these stories around, he doesn't care about me, he's bored with me, he doesn't love me, he's not looking at me, because that's physically what is happening in the moment. So you see here how he's just doing him and your mind is racing and thinking. Then, when we come into the space of why the overthinking thoughts are there, it's because we haven't actually communicated what we're feeling and thinking. So for example, if you're in this moment sitting on the TV and your partner is on his phone, have you said to him, it's like, oh, hey babe, how was your day? I've had a busy week this week. I'd really love to connect with you. Do you have any plans this evening? What shall we make for dinner? I'd love to do something together. If you haven't used any of those sentences or your own to be able to communicate with your partner, how do you expect him to actually know and support you with your thoughts going on if you haven't actually used your voice and use your words to communicate this? Like, reality of the situation, probably he's just come home from work and he's had a big day, there's been a lot going on, and he's just wanted to sit down and switch off and zone out. And that's also completely fine. But you, on the other hand, you had more ideas and desires that you wanted for this evening in your relationship. So because your expectations haven't been fulfilled, you are now creating stories up here. And there's a high chance that this is maybe happening in your relationship. And if it is, this is a great place to be like, okay, I am noticing that I am thinking about these things. Ask yourself the question, is this real happen? Is this reality right now? Is this really happening? Or am I making up stories in my head? Obviously, if this is really happening, it goes on over a period of time. Well, I still would ask you this question. Have you actually communicated how you're feeling to him? Or are you just sitting there thinking that he should know what you need and want? Men don't know. First and foremost, we need to communicate as women and actually speak up with our words and feelings to men, because they're not mind readers, and I can tell you that firsthand. Another example there is you're jumping into bed and you're not having sex when you're getting into bed at night, but you're just kind of assuming and expecting you guys to have sex. Well, it comes back to the same thing. Did you warm up? Have you even spoken about sex today or this week? Have you communicated what you're actually wanting? And there's a high chance, maybe you haven't, because this is why you're watching this video, because your thoughts are overthinking. So we really want to help ourselves as much as we can in those moments to stop those thoughts. I completely understand that when you're in the thick of it, then it's hard for you to able to be conscious or be aware of what's actually going on in the moment. And like from here down is just completely switched off, and you adjust in here, whether your monkey mind is on, your brain, you're just verbally vomiting everything out, and you haven't actually had time to process and think. So the first bit I just gave you, homework, write this one down, is when you notice yourself overthinking within your relationship, looking at it. Is this true, and is this my reality? Or am I just making up stories in my mind? And then from there, you can see which one it is. If you were just overthinking, then you know, okay, I'm thinking about X, Y, Z. I'm thinking about that we're not having enough sex. I'm thinking that he doesn't love me when he comes home from work and he's sitting on his phone. Now, what can you do about that? What can you do? What can you say? What can you speak? Or what can you voice to be like, hey babe, I've been feeling a little bit uncomfortable to have this conversation with you because I'm noticing how I've been overthinking in my mind. And really, I would just like to open up and say, you know, when you get home from work, I'd love to spend a bit of time for you. I understand that you've had a busy day and it's great that you're taking time for yourself, but when you feel ready, can we cuddle and can we just have a nice evening together? Allowing him to really digest his day and process what's just gone on for him, and then he will come back to you. If you're constantly kind of on at him, he's not going to think that he's done a good job, and as he's walking in the door, he's going to kind of be dreading those moments because you're always jumping on top of him. Your overthinking thoughts are getting the better of you. So assess the situation first. Is this happening? Is this my reality? Do I need to communicate this? And then communicate that. And if you need help with this, something that I suggest, maybe you're feeling like a little bit insecure or uncomfortable to actually have this conversation, and it's very normal. We haven't been to school to actually learn how to communicate properly, and it's quite vulnerable, especially for a woman. So what I suggest is sitting in front of the mirror and just voicing and communicating how you're feeling. Just sitting there and imagining that your partner is the mirror and being like, hey babe, I notice when you get home from work, like I really want to see you, but I know that you've had a busy day, and you know, maybe we can just have some time after you've kind of like relaxed and you know, had some time to yourself. Look, I completely understand that it's uncomfortable, it's nervous. There's a lot of vulnerability within this type of conversation. So the more that you do this, you will get into a space of like, hey babe, I've been thinking and I've been learning so much more about myself. I've been a bit of an overthinker recently, and I'm noticing how this is showing up in my relationships. So what I would love to do is be able to communicate this to you and have an adult conversation around that. And can we communicate openly and kind of navigate something else that works? Can you see here how the difference, the first one and the second one, how you would probably feel in this moment of like, you know, the insecurities, the hiding and behind, but the more you can do this practice of really building, it's basically building your self-love and self-worth within yourself to own your boundaries and to have the open communication in relationships. I do teach more of this inside my School of Sensuality. So if this is something that you want to kind of learn more about and how do you get into that space of being open and confident when you're speaking, I will pop the links below and you can come and join me in the School of Sensuality for women, where I teach you everything that you need to know about relationships, intimacy, embodiment, and pleasure. So that was the first one of lack of communication. And the second one I'm going to come on to is fear of getting things wrong or fear of making a mistake. So it could be common for you to be going through your life and wondering, oh my God, did I say the right thing in the message? Did I give him a kiss the right way? Did I turn the light off in an angry way? Did I slam the door? Maybe he felt that I was getting a little bit anxious. You know, when you do these things, noticing in yourself, okay, I'm overthinking right now. This is maybe the anxious thoughts that are coming up within me. Is this true? Just like I said before, is this true? Or is this me overthinking? Am I creating a story? And I hate to tell you, but the reality is there's probably a good high chance that you are just creating the story and your partner hasn't even noticed in all those actions or things that you've just said. We get so caught up, especially women, in wanting to be that perfect partner or wanting to, you know, have everything perfectly. At the end of the day, let me tell you, we are all imperfectly perfect just the way we are. That's fine. That's good enough. This may be you know, overthinking something that you've said, wondering if it sounds off, wondering if it was the right tone of voice. So when you catch yourself, because it's really good, obviously I'm putting these videos out there, but this might be after 3 hours when you've spent overthinking. So can you catch yourself in that moment when you've been overthinking into the space of, okay, I remember what Katie said. I remember that video. I'm going to save it here right now. Hit that like button. Can I come back to my body in this way? And what I mean by this is, in that moment when you catch yourself overthinking, you will be up here. Notice it. Notice yourself that you're up here. And then remember what Katie said. Katie said, come back into your body. How do we do that? We simply just take 10 long, deep breaths. And you can do this by closing down your eyes, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you can do this on a repetitive rhythm, if you're doing 10 breaths and it's still not enough, maybe you need to do 3 minutes. And I know in the heat of it, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm racing at the moment. Why do I want to be stopping and breathing for 3 minutes? But just trust me on this one, okay? I've been there myself. I teach it and I know exactly how you're feeling. So this is why I'm giving you these practical tips so you can actually implement them and move forward. So when you're in that moment, what this is actually doing is calming down your mind, calming down your brain, calming down your thoughts, which is obviously the overthinking, and supporting you to come back into your body so you can feel. And then what that does with the title of fear of making mistakes or fear of doing something wrong, you are going to feel into your body what you are actually feeling. And then how you're actually feeling is going to be completely different for everyone. But when you can let go of this and come into your body, you're going to be connecting with your body's wisdom, connecting with your feelings. And the majority of women's feelings and emotions have been suppressed and shut down for so long. So you're going to connect with your feelings in a way of, okay, I'm actually really sad because of XYZ, or I'm angry, or I'm actually feeling a little bit emotional and vulnerable. Like, if you've never really connected to your feelings before, it's going to feel odd and uncomfortable the first time you do this. So it might be after, the 9th or 10th time that you actually take these long, deep breaths that you're actually going to start feeling. I compare this to kind of like the gym. How long did it take you to build the muscle and to get to 100 kilos on a deadlift? It didn't happen straight away. And the way we work with our feelings and emotions is exactly the same. So just simply not thinking about it too much, just using 10 deep breaths to calm down your mind, to come into your body to actually feel. Then from that moment, what are you needing in that moment? Generally, it always comes back to because you haven't felt that you were listened to, that you were heard, or that you were seen. So ask yourself, okay, I've calmed, I've regulated, I remember this video from Katie. What do I actually need in this moment? And then maybe you're needing a bit of support or reassurance. I wouldn't say approval or validation, but more so reassurance that what you've done or the subject or the topic is actually aligning with how you're feeling and what your expectations are, rather than maybe, having done something and worrying about it. That's obviously leading to the overthinking, when you can actually come back into your body and like, oh, this is it. So I'm actually really curious, what do you feel in these moments? When you've let your mind calm down a little bit and you really come into the feelings, what are you actually feeling in this moment? And I can't answer for you because everyone is individual, but I obviously teach more of this inside the School of Sensuality, of how really to connect to your feelings a lot more deeper. That's just going to simply support you in your relationship as well. So you're not like closing the door thinking, oh my God, is that person overthinking about me, or have I done something wrong? Because you can actually come back to your actually feelings. And a lot of the time, it can probably come back to a past experience of a past relationship. But we're going to come into the third one next, and that is comparing yourself to others. So, are you someone who sits there scrolling social media, comparing yourself to the Instagram couples, to those who've just got married on a beach, to those who've got 1 million followers, to those who've got, all the kids dressed in the nice little outfits, wondering why you don't have that? Your brain is like a sponge. So if you have a sponge and you put it in water, what do you pick up? All of the water, and it's heavy. So the same on social media. If you are using social media to compare yourself to others, your brain and mind is going to feel heavy. And so potentially if you are observing everyone else on social media, all these lovely romantic couples who go on these fancy holidays in all of these rooftop bar hotels, are you comparing yourself to them? And then inside of you, you will be thinking, my partner never does this to me. We never go to rooftop hotels. We haven't been on a vacation. We don't do this. I want this. I don't have that. That is going to create your body to feel unsettled and for your mind to be racing, because you're picking up someone else's life. Like, someone else's life is not you. You have exactly everything that you need in this moment to be who you are today. It's just how we go about it and how we navigate it is where you're going to find the answers. So if you do notice that you're comparing yourself to others on social media, what I would suggest, and this is a practical tip, is firstly, what are you comparing? So are you comparing the lifestyle? Are you comparing their clothes? Are you comparing the intimacy and connection they have? Also, disclaimer, remember, what we put on social media is about 10% of our life. So what do they do for the other 90% when they're not posting on social media? When we've noticed what we're actually comparing ourselves with, then there's a high chance that you're going to be comparing this to your relationship. So grab your journal and pen out, write down everything that you're complaining, comparing yourselves about, such as their intimacy, the connection, they've got a jet ski, they've got a dog, they go out every Friday night. Write this all down on a paper, and then on the other side of the piece of paper, write down what you actually want. There's a chance that you're comparing or maybe subconsciously judging these other couples, and it's coming out in an overthinking way and blaming and shaming your partner. When if you do this exercise of writing down what you are comparing and judging and what you actually want, and then match it up, this second column, to actually what you want in your life. So if that is a jet ski holiday. Maybe you can't go on a complete jet ski holiday, but you can rent a jet ski for a couple of hours with your partner and be like, hey babe, I saw one of my friends on social media or someone who's an influencer and they had so much fun on the jet ski. I would love to go on a jet ski. Would you like to come with me? And we can create a date night or a date day, more so on a jet ski, you're not going to be doing that in the night. Create a date day out of this. You see how this example is actually really using your life and not comparing yourself to someone else. Another basic scenario is going out for dinner. Let's say someone you look on social media is always getting bought red roses and you're sitting there in a huff because your partner never buys you red roses. Have you ever voiced to your partner, it's like, hey babe, I actually really love flowers. My favorite flower is a red rose. Have you actually communicated this to your partner? Or are you just expecting and assuming? It comes back to that again. If you haven't communicated, how is he going to know? And so when you write down this list of the things that you actually want to enjoy and explore in your relationship, bring this in a healthy way forward to your partner and say, look, these are things I would like to do to build connection in our relationship. We can build intimacy, even the physical side of things. You know, imagine if we were to have a yummy dinner and we stayed over in a hotel in the city or something, or even took a yummy holiday. How much is this going to boost our relationship? And so every time you're always coming back to yourself, to your relationship, rather than like, I want to do this because they are doing it. I want to do it for myself. That is so important, whether this is in relationships, in work, whether you're comparing to someone else to a pay rise or a new job role, or people have got things in life that you haven't got. You want to be able to come back to yourself. Is this for me, or am I just judging and comparing myself to someone on social media? And then when you've done this exercise, just to add something else in, it's really important to take all that away and notice the overthinking thoughts that are coming through. And then actually just take a second to look at your own relationship, and just to take a second to think and feel and notice and acknowledge how much love there is in the relationship. What are you guys grateful for? That you wake up in the same bed next to each other, that you have yummy sex and intimacy. You might not be staying in fancy hotels, but you still have that love. Think about all those times when your partner brings you flowers to work, or brings you food, or gets you food after your busy day, picks the kids up when you need, gives you a foot massage. Look at your relationship and allow yourself to feel the love that you already have. If we're comparing ourselves and wanting what other people have got, that's fine. We can grow to that as long as it's with ourselves. But at the end of the day, this will come with the more love and the appreciation that we can already have for what you've already got in your life. The more gratitude that we can have here, it's just going to evolve and to grow. Just to recap on that, you can see that overthinking is very normal, but it's actually what we do about it and how we change that it's going to actually help our mind and thoughts and obviously relationship. In this video, I have covered 3 ways. If you have any questions, I am here. I love anything, really about communication in relationships. It's so underrated. And you can find me in School of Sensuality, where you can build more of a relationship with your body, your feelings, and your own heart. That's it for me today, lovelies. See you next time.